All right. Welcome to week 2 of season 2 of the Villanova Pokemon League. You're here with Tyler, Mark, and Dave. Say hi, guys.
More like the Zangoose.
Zangang.
The Zangang.
Zangang.
We found out you can say Zangeese or Zangooses.
No,
Apparently either.
it's Zangies.
It's Zangooses.
I mean, if you say it like Mongoose, you can say either. And it doesn't matter.
Save it for 2 weeks, and we'll really settle the Zangoose versus Zangoose
It's
debate.
Zangies.
Maybe one day. All right.
Alright, so our first match today is Save Us All, me versus Chris.
You overreact with it. Just get it.
It's pretty horrendous.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll start the battle. So I opened with Tyranitar, expecting an Arachnid lead, and I knew, I saw it, and I said, oh, he's going to open Primeape, but I'm still going to open T-Tar. So I did that. This was the start of the mistakes. I end up not getting punished for opening Tyranitar because he goes straight for the easy close combat on my
No
full
knockoff.
path. No knockoff.
I thought U-turn would have been good there.
I go hard into Latios because who stays in, and on turn 3 I just Draco the Donphan. That was a bad idea. I thought it would Oko, it didn't, but like also
30.
I didn't feel threatened. Yeah, it gets sturdy. This was not my finest match.
He was also Sandvale. He was not sturdy.
Yeah, that has 65% chance to hit. He was Sandvale Bright Powder.
This is dumb, but I wasn't processing. I wasn't scared of Donphan. I got knocked off. So then I send in my Kartana and get the revenge kill. But I was expecting to get a speed boost, and I got an attack boost. And I fucked up my IVs. And it was at this point that I knew that I really fucked up.
Classic.
So I just kind of keep my Kartana in on Pinsir because there's not really a good reason for me to switch. I mean, there was. I didn't care. This sapped my will to live. But once he close combats me, I decided it's an optimal time to go into Lantern for a quick attack. I get quick attacked. And then I Volt Switch out because there's no way he's staying in and losing his Pinsir. And I use that opportunity to send in my Water type against a Rotom Cut.
Yeah, that was brave.
It was, well, I knew it was Assault Vest, so I could live, and I could go for a Moonblast pretty much unimpeded. And he had no switch-ins to Moonblast.
He should have known that it was AV. I mean, because you're the Water type in against the Grass Electric. He should have known immediately that's AV. He should have gotten out.
Maybe he just thought I lost my mind, which did happen. I crit his Arachnid on turn 9, but it doesn't matter because Moonblast into Psyshock kills anyway, so all he does is get his webs up. But it does make me on turn 11 go for Moonblast over Psyshock. And then I was really confused when the Rotom Cut killed my Primarina with Volt Switch because it did 19% last time. Little did I know it was at -2. Again, proving not my finest hour. And then I do it again. He Stone Edges my Golbat with Primeape, and I defog on him. And he's Defiant Primeape. Like, I should have known that, but I was not thinking. And so there I go for the, I use my access to the site random number generator, dodge a Stone Edge, and Brave Bird the Primeape into oblivion. And it just keeps coming.
I cried a little bit when that happened. When he got the Defiant boost.
I hard swapped in my Tyranitar on the Kyurem because I built this Tyranitar so it could 1v1 every Kyurem except Band and Z Free Shock. He didn't do band damage, so I thought I was safe. Well, that's what I say in retrospect, but I really was not thinking at all. But he Z-Free shocks me, and my Tyranitar dies, and that was really unfortunate, because, I mean, I guess it didn't matter at this point in the game, because everything killed Tyranitar, but I just go into Kartana and just blow my load on Kyurem, because what am I going to kill with a Z Sacred Sword but Kyurem? And I get my attack boost of Pain, and that's on turn 17. He sends in Pinsir. I didn't actually think he'd go for quick attack on turn 18. I didn't expect a no SD Pinsir either, so I was quite surprised when he reveals Earthquake on the subsequent turn. So now I'm in trouble. I have to go back into my very weakened Golbat. I pretty much lose, but Chris misclicks and he goes for a quick attack on my Golbat.
Chris.
Instead of
the worst. The worst.
He goes for a quick attack over return, and it's basically a done deal. I can just kind of roost off the damage. Crit won't kill. And I can Brave Bird him. You can still mind game me and win with his Rotom.
Yeah, he should have on one of these roofs. He should have gone Rotom and done something.
If he went Rotom, we would have been right back at where we are on I believe it is turn 25. I believe is when I go for the Brave Bird to put myself out of his misery. No. Oh no, I don't.
It's much later than that.
It's the next turn. But I sat there for like 7 turns and roosted, which was oh boy, it's
yeah, it was a lot.
It's still going.
He had EQ.
He did have EQ.
You're at full health on one of them. He just roosted again for good.
Did that do more?
He was faster, so I don't remove my flying typing yet. Rotom comes out. I figured he would just Volt Switch on me for the damage because he was frustrated, understandably.
Yeah.
So I get a Volt Absorb, and then I Protect to see what he's gonna do if he's real. And he goes for the Leaf Storm. I'm like, all right. So he's not doing it again. He's going for Volt Switch this time to get that damage on the Golbat switching, and he just goes in raw and Leaf Storms me. So I basically just send in my Golbat, and it's more Roost Brave Bird shenanigans for the rest of the game. Not particularly entertaining. I was really bitter about this match. It wasn't a good match for me. It wasn't good just in general for both sides. It was a very off day. I think I learned my lessons about trying to do a match during my shift at work the night before I had a test. But I think that's really just an excuse for me playing trash. Either way, it was pretty horrendous. Golbat seals the deal. It's 3-0 in kills. The true defensive MVP of the Villanova Pokemon League this year.
Mark, you got any comments?
Just, I guess a couple quick things. I thought Chris played pretty decently. Like, obviously the Stone Edge dodge is a little unfortunate, or a lot unfortunate, really. And, of course, the misclick with Pinsir. But otherwise, I thought he played a reasonably good game outside of that. I thought he did kind of have a free U-turn on turn 1 against the Tyranitar. And that would have gotten Kieran Black in, like, turn 2, which would have been amazing for him. Like, he could have honestly just clicked Z-Free Shock turn 2 if he wanted to. And that actually would have worked out pretty well, considering that the Tyranitar was designed to take on the Kyurem, which I thought was, like, I understand the thought process behind the Tyranitar, but Icebeam Z-Free Shock is, like, the Smogon set for Kieran Black. So it's not, like, an unreasonable thing for him to bring.
I just didn't think he'd want Z-Free Shock over a comparable set because I guess Tyranitar is kind of a high-profile bring, but it's the only thing that it does better than any other Kyurem set, which I felt had a better matchup against my team. And particularly, I thought Life Orb Wall Breaker had the best. Or Scarf, actually. I think Scarf would have been the best Kyurem bring against my team.
Evidently not.
Evidently not. Well, I did sack my Latios turn 3, so...
Yeah, having the Lati dead was big. And obviously, like, sturdy Don fan, man. Sturdy Don fan. Other than that, I didn't have too many notes. Like, obviously, the Kartana set being messed up not only had an impact because, like, Speed Boost Kartana kind of ripped through that team, but also because, like, Tyler's sitting there going, well, shit, I brought the wrong Kartana set. And, like, the whole game after that was pretty... You seemed a little tilted.
Yeah, I had to...
Understandable.
I had to seriously reevaluate my win condition, and I realized that I had built the team in such a way that it was enabling Latios and Kartana to rip through his team, and neither of those things was going to happen. So I had to really, really improvise and sort of use Lantern and Golbat to seal the deal.
Yeah, it kind of turned this game into, like, the second half of my game versus Billy, where I just, like, lost my win condition and then lost my mind.
We don't have to talk about previous weeks.
We don't need to talk
Salty.
about that. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I think, Tyler, I think you're too hard on yourself. Like, Chris should have had more knockoff. He should have had knockoff on Primeape. In prep, he should have seen Golbat coming in on Primeape easily. And, I guess Stone Edge is for that, but also knockoff. Like, because Stone Edge misses. We all know this. That's not new. So I think he should have had I don't know what all the moves were, but I think he probably would have had room for knockoff, and it could have been useful, especially for, like, Latios, because Latios can also come in on Primeape. So like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do when that happens?
Yeah.
Also,
Probably Scarf Primeape, I would guess.
Also the Kartana, I don't think that because you EV'd it wrong or I beat it or whatever, I don't think you had to take a close combat at the beginning just because you EV'd it wrong. I think you could have gone Golbat because Golbat walled the pincer as we later realized. I don't think you had to. I mean, you lost Latios and then you took a close combat. I don't know if that was the right order, but you took a close combat on Kartana for no reason.
Yeah, I stopped thinking.
Yeah,
There's no other real way to put
It's
it.
kind of the theme of the match.
I definitely entered the I-click move space.
Yes, yeah, and that's what Chris was at the beginning. That's the last thing I had to say. Chris, his end game, like, I mean, he gave up after he lost. I'm not sure what, maybe Kyurem. But like he kind of quit playing after them, and that was a little frustrating because there may have been something that he could have done to get out of the Golbat stallfest. Like he didn't have. I mean, he could have maybe gone Rodham and forced Tyler to make some predictions on the Volt Switch or the Leaf Storm or whatever, which we saw you made wrong. You didn't get him right. He Leaf Stormed your Lantern. You didn't get that.
Yeah,
and Golbat might have walled them both out in the end, but like there were maybe outs, and he didn't even think about them or explore them. And I think he could have spent a little bit more time or effort, if even in prep, just like exploring those get out of this bad situation ideas. And he didn't.
You know it's pronounced Rotom, right?
Rodham.
No, it's definitely Rotom.
Rodham.
It's
No,
like
it's
motor back.
definitely Rotom.
Rodham.
Yeah, see, Mark's got my back.
Is there a correct way to
Gotta
say
be.
motor backwards?
Well, I would presume it's pronounced the same way as like motor.
Well, it's not switching. Okay.
All right, moving on.
It's Rodham.
All right.
Rodham.
So next
What up,
up
Dave?
we have Dave versus
Oh,
Pace.
Yeah.
This is a good one,
I
Dave.
think I'm first.
Why don't you try to explain to yourself what you were thinking?
Oh yeah, all right. So originally, I don't know, turn the laptop. Originally, Muck. Yeah, when I was prepping, Muck gave me the most grief in the original prep battles, and then I prepped with John, and he brought DD Como, and that ripped through everything. So I ended up somehow losing a ground type move, and as you'll see later, I couldn't kill the Muck, and that's basically the story of this match. I was trying to scare him out. I was trying to scare out the Muck with, like I got Earthquake on Goodrow. Oh, you better switch out, or I'm gonna wild charge you with Coco, and I just didn't because I was scared of the Gliscor, and he didn't care. He didn't care at that point. He was just trying to. It was like the second turn that Muck was in. He was ready to sack it off, which it walled my whole team. So that was a little bit silly, but it worked because I was dancing around and getting poisoned everywhere, and that's just how it went, and I lost because of it, and that was kind of weird. The other thing, this turn 2 right away after I spank him with the banded U-turn, Pace thinks that he gets the electric terrain boost on Electros. He doesn't because he's levitating. So I bust out my secret tech Imprison on the Bayonet, which I guess I'll never be able to run again thanks to this. But I was predicting a knockoff because that does the most damage. He didn't know that. He thought that the Thunder Punch did more damage. So he ends up just going for the Thunder Punch on my Imprison, and he gets the para. and that's trouble because later when I'm trying to sneak him, I get the full para and I can't kill the Electros, which is annoying. It probably wouldn't have ended up mattering in the end because Bayonet couldn't do anything more to Muck than the other guys could, because I was being stupid.
It would have helped your differential.
I think Electros ended up dying anyways. I remember it. But yeah, I had basically the only thing that I can say about this match is I had so many chances to just kill the Electros, or not the Electros. I had so many chances to just kill the Muck, and I didn't take them because I was scared of Gliscor. And I'm Banded Coco, right? The greatest set And if he switches in the Gliscor, which turned out to be Bandit itself, then I'm in trouble because then I switch out and then my team has to take an Earthquake, which I'm pretty weak to. So yeah, that didn't really work out. That's kind of all I have. The only thing is the only other thing, and I mentioned this in the Discord, and it's no shots to Pace or anybody in the league, but like we all kind of have to think differently. If those of us who I don't really consider myself anywhere, but if we consider ourselves to be more experienced with Pokemon, we kind of have to try to think about the people who are less experienced in Pokemon, just like they would try to think like we do. And it's, I don't know what to do when you're predicting a knockoff because it does the most and they Thunder Punch and it looks like a great prediction, but it's and it's the best move. But yeah. That's all. You take it over.
I guess I interpreted the Mug stuff a different way. I always saw it as he was just not scared.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah.
You did nothing to pressure his Mug. Like,
right.
Your Coco was obviously banned,
right.
but what it's still living, right?
No, it's dead.
It's dead.
It's absolutely dead.
Well,
Banded Coco, yeah. Mug is especially defensive. It's not as physically defensive. Banded Wild Charge.
Who expects Banded
Wild Charge knocks that thing into backwards Muck. Wherever,
But yeah, his Muck isn't going to be scared of your Primarina.
No,
yet. Zarina.
This whole sequence was ridiculous. Turn 15, I knock off with Primarina, and then everyone hit with a special move. Because why am I going to set, none of it made any sense, all right? I panicked. I do what I say people shouldn't do. I panicked against the Muck. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, this was a week of panic.
Yeah, panic. Bad moves. Terrible.
The Muck is just sitting here and not doing it.
I stand by my Zap Cannon, by the way. I don't...
Yeah, why do you have Zap Cannon on Mew?
For no guard Doublade. Doublade easily comes in on Mew. I Zap Cannon. Bam.
But it's a Doublade.
You get Will-O-Wisp and Shadow Ball, though.
Yeah, it's going to annihilate.
No, but then I can... I don't know. I don't know what I had. But...
We've pretty much... I really liked the Banded Gliscor attack. I thought that was a great thing against
Dave. It was. I thought about it, but then, I kind of got lulled out of it in prep, and that's my fault.
Yeah. Dave said everything I wanted to. So do you have anything to say, Mark?
I had a couple things. One thing, obviously, was maybe a little too memey on your end, Dave, with, Zap Cannon Mew and Imprison and Sub Gudra. All that kind of stuff is a little bit much. But the one thing I really want to talk about was banned Coco. Because, I know you want Brave Bird damage for Tangrowth, but you can definitely get that more effectively from, a mixed Life Orb set, U-Turn, HP Ice, Brave Bird, Thunderbolt, or something like that. So you can still hit the Gliscor. Ban Coco is totally walled by Gliscor, and, he's bringing it.
Yeah, right. Maybe I'll run Banded when they don't have a ground type, if such a team exists.
There you go.
It doesn't exist, dude. I have a Crocodile.
I don't think it exists. You need a ground type in draft.
Dave, if you run Ban Coco
I don't have a ground type.
week 4, I will eat my shorts.
I don't have a ground. I have Savali as my ground type. That's my ground type.
Yeah, your team's not a real team.
Hey, get out of here.
Is that Pace is now undisputed Hacks King. I'm pretty sure he got more secondary effect stuff than he didn't get it. If that makes sense. He got Poison Touch on Shadow Sneak. He got Thunder Punch Para. I think every Gunk Shot.
Gunk Shot does not make contact.
That's
So
amazing.
He didn't have Poison Touch on Gunk Shot.
Isn't it a 30% though?
Yeah.
It's
a 30%.
But it's not. Yeah. Right.
He got more secondary effects on moves he went for than he didn't get them, which is insane. I don't think it really swung the match very much because you still didn't play well around the Muck.
Right.
But it's just funny to note how much Hacks Pace is able to seemingly consistently.
It hurt me mentally. It got to me in the head.
All right. Moving on to me versus AJ now. So I had my panic week. Last week, and this week was the week for me to actually be in control. So at the beginning of the game here, I'm looking at his team okay, Hacks and Delayed are staying in for the late game, so I'm not worried about them so much. I've got good switch-ins for other stuff. So I just lead Drudagon, and it's really fast, so I taunt the Skarmory, and I get my rocks up immediately. After that, the Thundy comes in because it pretty much beats down this Togeous. This is really bulky Thunderous, some max HP, max speed, I think, with knockoff, U-turn, Thunderbolt, and Defog. So I wasn't really too concerned about it. He shows light screen here. I'm like, oh, well, it's a good thing I have defog if I ever need to get rid of those screens. So I U-turn out into Piloswine here because I figure I can threaten him out with Icicle Crash, get some things in on rocks. I figure he'll go Skarmory here, and I just want to get a little bit of chip on Skarmory to make sure its Sturdy's broken for things like Low Punny later. I missed the Icicle Crash, not really a huge deal. And I bring Thundy back in just because he might set up some entry hazards on me, and I have defog anyways. I'll get rid of his screens. But he defogs for me, and now Thundy is in front of a Skarmory. So I think Jolt's coming in here. So I click knockoff, but he goes Victini, which is even better, because there goes Victini's Choice Band. And Druddigon is built for this Victini. It's Rough Skin Rocky Helmet. So I'm going to go right back into Druddigon, and V-Create does not nearly as much as Banded V-Create would have done, which would have 2-hit KO'd me. Not that I really cared too much, because like I said, Druddigon was really just here to taunt the Skarm early game, get up rocks, and kill the Victini, which he for some reason allows me to do by clicking U-turn. I wasn't too sure about why he did that, but I threw off a Toxic to try and catch the Togekiss, because I figured that's what was coming in. Then he goes Jolteon, and I'm like, oh, well, Piloswine pretty much walls this thing. It's mixed bulk, mostly physically defensive, but a little bit of special defense in there, and I realize he specs from the HP Ice damage there, and I know he wants to bring in Skarmory on the Piloswine, so I get Druddigon in, taunt Skarmory yet again, because I am, again, faster, and he goes for Stealth Rock again, shut it down, get my Stealth Rocks back. Oh no, I throw another Toxic here trying to catch a Togekiss, and he goes Jolteon again, and I'm sitting here like, well, if he knocks me out, I know he specs, and he has to go for HP Ice. That's good Lycan Rock setup fire, so I just stay in, and I set up my Stealth Rocks again, and I'm back in front of this Skarmory, which, believe it or not, I'm going to taunt again, because it's really no drawback for me to taunt the Skarmory, because nothing can set up if it comes in on a taunt. So he goes Togekiss, which I predict correctly, and hit the Gunk Shot. That was a roll to knock him out there if he doesn't have Fizz Def investment, and I could get the poison. So I'm like, okay, it's worth a shot. And I really just didn't want him roosting here, so I wanted him to choose between roosting and screens. So I taunted him before switching out into Thundurus. And once again, Thundurus takes these hits pretty well and can just kill it with U-turn. If he switches out, I get even more momentum, but there's really no reason for him to save Togekiss. He lets it go down. After that, he brings... I go Druddigon just to make sure he doesn't go back into Skarmory and defog on me. I want my rocks up still. And we're back in the same situation with Jolteon, where if he knocks me out with HP Ice, which he does here, I can bring in Lycan Rock and click Swords Dance. And basically at that point, I have the ability to kill everything on his team, assuming I'm man enough to risk a speed tie with Gallade. I was really hoping here, basically, that he'd kind of choke and go Skarmory after I knocked out the Jolteon with a Cell Rock, because I had Lycanium Z, which just absolutely blows everything on his team out of the water at +2, including this Gallade. So it would kill from this range, but I don't feel like risking that speed tie yet, because I think a Cell Rock might be useful for Haxorus later on. And I go into this Sylveon, which is max defense Kebia Berry, in case he goes for SD and tries to Poison Jab me. And I just start throwing off Hyper Voices. And here we get into a little bit of a stall fest with the Skarmory. I find out pretty quickly that he doesn't have Iron Head. So we basically just sit here for a little while. And yes, I'm kind of losing this because I'm one wish behind his roosts, but I need my wishes less than he needs his roosts, because Skarmory is like the only thing in Low Punny's way at this point from just clicking return and winning the game, basically. So I'm just going to stay in here with Sylveon for a few turns, throw off a few Hyper Voices, waste a few roosts. I'm not actually sure how many turns this goes on for, but basically I'm just wishing when I need to. He's Brave Birding me. I'm clicking Hyper Voice when I can, getting my health back from the wish. It's really just kind of a back and forth mess at this point. Eventually, I think I decide to end it and go into Thundy. Hopefully that comes soon, because I don't have much to say about wish stalling somebody. I honestly can't remember which turn I actually decided to go. I think I make a Baton Pass play at some point to get a wish into Thundy, because I know he's faster than me, and I don't want Thundy taking extra damage, especially because rocks are still up. And at this point in the game, actually, rocks are better for him than they are for me. So I'd rather defog them at this point, if possible, which is another reason I kind of want to get Thundy in. But basically, there's the Baton Pass. So I get the Baton Pass to wish into Thundy. I'm back at full health. And I'm like, well, if I get rid of the Skarmory, I don't like guaranteed win, but I'm in an excellent position if he lets me. And if he goes into Haxorus, that plus U-turn plus Ice Shard from Piloswine knocks out the Haxorus, so it can't set up and beat me at the same time. So he brings out the Haxorus here. I U-turn out, like I said, but again, now he's at a little more health, so it's a little scarier. So I U-turn out into Piloswine, get that nice Ice Shard chip off on Haxorus to hopefully put it in range of Lopunny Fake Out was the plan, but it doesn't get him quite low enough to guarantee a Fake Out kill. It was a roll. So he knocks me out with the Z Outrage, which I was pretty much expecting at that point. Either that or Life Orb would knock me out. So I go into Lycanroc because a Celerock guaranteed knocks out most Haxorus from this range. He switches out into Glade, which doesn't really matter because at this point I can just bring in Sylveon, or after I let Lycanroc go down, or I can bring in Lopunny if I lose this speed tie. I don't know if that was a speed tie, but I must have won it if it was. Hit him with the Splinter Storm Shards. Puts him in range of pretty much anything Lopunny clicks, and I just clean up with Return from here. And that's all I got on this game. I'll hand it over to you guys for notes. Oh, one thing I want to say before we end here. Besides the taunt business, I thought AJ played this really well. He didn't really make too many glaring mistakes besides having the Skarmory get taunted. And when the Skarmory was taunted, there really wasn't much reason for me to click anything else anyways. And he didn't gain too much by switching out. Obviously, he would have gained something by switching out. But like
Victini U-turn was a pretty big mistake, I think.
Well, you know what? I honestly didn't have many issues with how AJ played, except letting his Skarm get taunted like 3 times.
Yeah.
Instead, I think most of his errors were in the team building.
Yeah, prep.
Yeah.
I think Ironhead Skarm was a much better bring. You miss out on beating Lop with Brave Bird, but you have a much more varied list of things that you hit with Ironhead.
One thing I should point out about that, though, really quick, if he has Ironhead and Lop is in, like, that does jack to me, and I had Power-Up Punch, so I can just Power-Up Punch all over a Brave Birdless Skarmory, and after one Power-Up Punch, I think I OHKO his whole team with Return, with Rocks are up, which they were, so...
Maybe drop Defog and put it on Togekiss or something.
Yeah, I think Defog on Togekiss might have been the play there instead of like Light Screen or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking for Light Screen, perhaps for Thundy, but
maybe for Haxorus.
Yeah, I actually didn't want to leave Thundy in very much because the Light Screen would be a little bit of a problem if he's trying to set up on me with Light Screen up because I'm not going to do jack to like Gallade or whatnot. Not that I'd necessarily want to stay in Gallade because it blows me away with Ice Punch, which I assumed he had, but Light Screen in itself wasn't necessarily a bad bring, but Defog would have been much better on Togekiss.
Another issue I had was that he ran Band Victini over Scarf, which I think was a much better bring against your team. Victini just doesn't have the speed to compete with what it needs to, and I don't really think it would have much trouble busting through your walls, except for Druddigon, which it can't bust through anyway.
Probably beats Lopunny too.
Yeah, I don't think Lopunny's living to be great, but I don't know the calc.
Yeah.
No, probably not. No, yeah, it was not living anything. But I figured, okay, if Victini comes in, even if he U-turns, Druddigon's going to deal like 25% to it. I had dual rocks on this team, so I'd be making sure Victini was sufficiently chipped. And then even after just one Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, it's in range of a Celerock from Lycanroc. So I really wasn't too concerned about Victini this game, and he just made me even less concerned about it by, for some reason, U-turning on me really early in the game and just killing it off.
Yeah, forget Banded Coco U-turn. That was no item Victini U-turn. That did way better than my Banded U-turn.
You might as well just recreate it again.
Another thing with Scarf Victini, if we're going to see that in the coming weeks, you can squeeze in Final Gambit on that Victini, and it's pretty saucy.
You know what? Actually, Final Gambit Victini is a real set.
Yeah.
I'll fight anybody who says it's not.
Yeah, it's a real set. Actually would have been pretty decent against the Druddigon. Remove the Druddigon, Skarmory can actually get up rocks and stuff like that.
I guess the last thing I want to say is that I think AJ potentially could have used his DD Haxorus a little bit better. It just came in way too late to make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
I think you started.
I mean, at the time it was finally able to get in safely. It was too late at that point.
Yeah, I guess that's all we have to say about Mark versus AJ.
Yeah, that was a good game.
So now we're moving on to Billy versus Finn, which this was a match.
This was like night and day.
Disappointment. I'm sorry.
This
sorry,
is.
Billy.
I was really disappointed.
Yeah, I know. Billy raised my expectations after last week, and then he didn't run Metal Burst Metal Burst Sturdy Bastiodon to beat Zygarde like I told him to. So I'm gonna say that is a single reason for his loss and nothing else.
I came up with that set before you were born, all right, and I had red card on it, so I just get a random kill.
Did you mean so you could force out my Bulu when it was about to sweep your team?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You're right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just start the replay and
Go
we
for
can
it.
just
play it.
Tyler,
We can
fine.
talk
go for
about
it as we go along.
Goes in the background.
The real low-hanging fruit is Billy keeping it as Ferrothorn
Yep.
on a Heat Wave.
Heat Wave is a
Especially
common
when
move
Toxapex had Z.
Yeah.
It was Z Toxapex, so it's literally a free switch into Pex right there.
Yeah,
I thought he said,
the
"Oh,
only-
I didn't know he got that."
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very common.
Oh man.
Hurricane misses.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Tornadus
what it
has.
Yeah.
does.
It's got a record of missing hurricanes in this league. Apparently, having flashbacks to it.
Oh god, the Quagsire. So he gets the lucky crit with the Dragon Claw, and it actually puts it in range of an Earthquake. Mineral Earthquake does 41% here,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
he doesn't click it.
and he
He
goes-
clicks Dragon Claw again.
Oh.
He doesn't. I
And
don't
then he
know what he was
compounds
doing.
any state.
Oh.
He compounds it by clicking Source Dance
I know.
on
He
another Quagsire. I'm just
Imagine-
sitting watching
imagine
this
he
being
wasn't
like,
unaware.
Wow, Billy is making me.
Imagine
look
he
really
forgot
bad 'cause-
to bring that away.
if he was damp
Yeah,
to dodge
yeah.
the explosion Ferrothorn.
Yes.
Yo, explosion Ferrothorn with a band is a real
Yes.
set.
Well, it's half a set.
No, all right. Look, I did a league with my friends, and I had Ferrothorn, and the dude sent in his Zapdos with absolutely no fear, and I banned Explosioned on it and OHKO'd it, and he was so bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, we see a grass type died in Quagsire, which
Yep.
is never something you want to see.
Very unfortunate.
You hate to see that.
Another thing I
happen.
want to talk about is Billy.
And then we
gets
get the
that-
MVP, Trisha.
Yeah, Trisha. I have this
Trisha
listed in
gives-
my
gives
notes
the word
as
right
D-Day begins.
now. Yeah, there was really not much. I don't even know if Billy had much on his team to counter this once it was set up.
Billy should also know that HP Ice is, on electric types, it's super common. I don't know, Garchomp isn't any more safe than Crobat or Toxapex from a super effective move in this case.
I just don't know what he was doing sending him Probopass when
Yeah.
clearly his Entei was capable of
Right.
handling Raichu.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it turns
Which
out
it
it was
does.
Assault Vest Entei.
Yeah, it ends up 1v1ing, and he didn't go at first, which is, we say that a lot when people get just a ton of kills for no reason, is the opponent doesn't know what to do, they just send in the wrong Pokemon, and they lose them, and it's bad.
Yeah, Dave, tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, that wasn't... I just didn't have anything to kill the Muk, all right?
So yeah,
It
The
wasn't-
banded
it wasn't the wrong
wildfire.
order. It was just I didn't know what I was doing to kill the Muk.
Really, Billy lost when his Ferrothorn died
Yeah.
because he has
Yeah,
absolutely
the game
nothing to
is
handle Zygarde, which
Yeah.
is sub DD. Or no, that was last
And
week.
even-
It's
No,
just
this
the
was
Zygarde.
banding, I think.
Either way, he's just boned. We're just commenting over a dead man.
Zygarde sets are kind of similar.
Yeah, it's click 1,000 arrows.
Yeah.
The Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not particularly deep. But
Like Quagsire walls the rest of what's left. Zygarde kills the rest of what's left. It's like
yeah, no,
Just
it's a lost cause.
Quag got 3 kills, didn't it?
Quag did get 3 kills.
yeah, got
so
the kills. Especially with a really nice prediction on the Roost here, clicking Earthquake. That was really nice.
yeah.
Picking
Yeah.
off the Crobat. Not that he needed to make the play there, but just to kind of stun on him.
Just a swag on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Finn has 3 Pokemon on the offensive leaderboards right now, and one of them is a Quagsire.
Yeah, you got a Golbat up there. Don't be talking.
Hey, whoa. Golbat is a perfectly respectable Pokemon. My friendship has ended with Gligar.
It'll all
Golbat
it'll
is
all
my-
get sorted out by the end of the season. Don't worry. Coco and Hawlucha, they're going up. They're going places.
You haven't even brought Hawlucha. Don't talk to me.
Oh, that's right.
You're, can you just not
Talk
bring
to me
Haw?
after. Talk to me after this week. All right.
Don't bring Haw against me, and we'll
Haw?
be good. Haw.
Okay. All right.
It's short for Hawlucha. What do you want?
Haw-
He's just gonna bring Lucha then. Oh look, it's over.
It-
No, not quite. I mean,
It-
yeah.
It's basically over. Finn does some snazzy switches to save himself some differential,
Yeah.
which is cute. But
Yeah, Finn's done a really good job of preserving differential while he beats people down so far.
I mean,
Yeah.
Billy actually forfeits on turn
Oh yeah, that's
turn 27. Not like it really mattered.
that's a shame though.
It's an understandable forfeit.
No.
From what I understood, he was kind of busy at the time too, so he probably didn't prep much, and like as Billy does, probably didn't prep much. But also like probably wasn't rushing himself while he played.
Don't forfeit. I don't like it.
I forfeited in
I know.
finals.
That was terrible.
I
That was
lost.
terrible.
What? You wanted me to sit there for like 4 more turns as I got blasted by DD Zygarde?
What if he EV'd his bonds wrong, like you're at the Cartana? What if something crazy happened?
You could misclick like Chris.
I mean, it misclick. It just
I knew from the calcs that he had the right Zygarde set to absolutely blow me out of the water, so I just clicked X.
well, I don't want to talk about last season too much, where you made it to the
That's right.
Yeah.
I did make it to the finals.
Yeah, former finalist.
Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Ron Finn picking up another big win, sets himself up for a huge matchup with John next week, both of whom are 2-0, and I believe at the top of their divisions.
I'm excited to
both at the top of their divisions.
Play Finn
Should be
in
an
week 10. That should be exciting.
Yeah. I can't wait for Finn to lose next week so I can be back at the top of the standings like I
Right.
belong.
Yeah, I don't. Finn can't be too far ahead of me, okay? Because top 3 go to playoffs, and if he gets me out of playoffs again, I'm gonna cry.
Well, you see, what if Mark, Finn, and I get playoffs and it's Mark that kicks you out because you guys have the same record, right?
That's true. We do have the
Although
same record.
one loss is a little bit more embarrassing than the other. I'm not pointing fingers.
Which one? Mine was pretty embarrassing.
Yours was pretty embarrassing. Mark lost because of a miss.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's a disconnect.
So mine was worse.
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Good.
Yeah,
I thought you were okay. Yeah. Because I agree. I definitely agree.
it's fine though. Maybe you can redeem yourself next week. And pick
Oh,
up
don't even worry. It's
Who do you play next week?
Mr.
Play
Glumac
Glumac next week. Yeah, that should be a really good game too. Assuming Dave doesn't try to meme.
with my girlfriend.
With your girlfriend?
He bought my girlfriend.
Man, you know what? If he doesn't name all his Pokemon offensive Gardevoir things, I'm gonna be disappointed.
No, I'm disappointed already, and it's going down. All right.
Does he understand how much Gardevoir means to you?
Yeah. No.
I don't know if he understands.
He doesn't understand. I'm gonna make him understand. What if we lose? Next week we're gonna come back and we're gonna be crying because I lost.
Yeah, I'm not super spooked about next week, but like, I have a bad matchup against Eric.
Oh, get out of here!
Dude,
Don't
I do.
talk about no. Then you meme. Then you,
Just team wise.
listen. If you have a bad matchup, then you resort to memes. You,
No, I'm not
You
doing
drop
that.
everything and you meme.
You're out of your
Then you
gourd.
end up getting 5-0'd by a muck. So it's like.
Tyler keeps touching my leg with his leg. So
Alright.
I think
That's the
it's
time to
about
end the video.
I think it's about time we end it so I can get out of here.
All right. Well, thank you all for if you actually listened this far. We'll be back for more in week 3.
Congratulations if you made it this far. Once again.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening. I'm David.
Dave is bad at using Tapu Koko.
That's Tyler.
Ooh, shots. All right. Bye.